Hello, 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 everybody. Let me tell you a fairy tale. Not just any old fairy tale, but the wildest fairy tale you've ever heard. There was once a lady who weighed over 300 pounds and found her Prince Charming. They got married. Then they started to gain weight. Lots of it. At her heaviest, this lady, Lexireed, weighed almost 500 pounds. 485 pounds to be specific. How is this a fairy tale? Well, starting in January 2016, Lexi and her husband, they started to lose weight together. She did it naturally. She lost 285 pounds in 18 months, 1.5 years, which is pretty incredible, right? Very incredible. She actually lost 312 pounds in 2 years. Now that's a lot of weight. That's a ton of weight, right? They quit their jobs, starting working full-time as fitness social media influencers. Lexi started a YouTube channel, Instagram, etc. So all is well in fairy tale land, right? Well, this is where the fairy tale starts to get a bit wild, so to speak. In late 2019, one of her husband's good friends goes on social media saying that she's sending him inappropriate messages and photographs. That's when things started to get even more interesting. So Lexi got involved in a company called Diet Bet, which on the face of it sounds kind of cool. Put some money in, to help lose weight. Some of us have probably tried things like this. I've done this myself when I lost a lot of weight. In a company, you put money in a pot and motivates you. So apparently she's made a couple $100,000 by hosting some Diet Bet contests, which, yeah, a lot of money. Things get interesting here because there have been some accusations that she's actually regained weight during this time. She hasn't really been putting out any videos. And she's been alleged that these pictures she puts out are old pictures. Then the fairy tale gets even wilder. Well, let me back up a second. She went radio silent on social media. Her last post was, I believe, the beginning of January or early December last year. Then a post comes out recently that she's in the hospital with organ failure. That kind of came out of nowhere, so to speak. Then the fairy tale gets a bit wilder since some days later she's released, even though her organs were failing. And she's on dialysis. It's a bit strange for something so serious, right? I remember earlier I talked about they quit their jobs, made a couple $100,000. Apparently, they had not gotten insurance. I'm not sure why, but they did not. So they've started a GoFundMe page to raise $200,000. Since, without insurance, medical bills can be very expensive. Interestingly, in cases like this, they're usually hospital social workers or caseworkers, I guess, that you basically consult with that can understand your financial situation as to what you can pay, what you cannot pay, give you access to programs to cover most of these costs, so to speak. The fairy tale takes another twist because if you look at the picture on the thumbnail with her in the hospital, it's pretty clear that she's put on a lot of weight, right? So now you start to wonder, are these rumors from before, are they not really rumors? This is why I said this is the wildest fairy tale I've ever heard. Started out great, in like a Cinderella type story or a Prince and the Frog type story. And then it's gotten all wild. I don't know, it's pretty wild. Question is, what caused the organ failure, right? That's pretty serious, right? Because now you're close to death at that point in time. Thankfully, she's alive and she's at home. That's obviously a good thing, right? And she's a big role model. She has over 1 million followers on Instagram. She's a role model to a lot of people, especially ladies who've either lost weight or want to lose weight. So I never heard of this lady before myself, but when I saw the picture, I just assumed she was still trying to lose a lot of weight. So yeah, that picture was a shocker, a big shocker. Big shocker, big shocker. I myself lost 65 pounds and then I put it all back on. So I know it's pretty difficult. I'm very empathetic to this, right? But if you're tricking people now to say, hey, you've lost this, you've kept it off, you're selling programs, that's not so cool. Here's the thing. Let's do some math here. Let's whip out the calculator. She lost 285 in 18 months. So if I do that, so that's working out to almost 4 pounds per week, which is not healthy at all. So for those of you who don't know, typically you don't want to lose any more than 2 pounds a week. Extreme weight loss is over 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds a week for a sustained period. She did that for at least 1.5 years. Even when you calculate the full 2 years, that's quite a lot. She essentially lost 2, almost 3 human beings in a sense, which again, very impressive, but you know, it didn't take her 2 years to put all that weight on, but she got rid of it in 2. And that puts a lot of stress on your body, your organs, right? Or if you think about that, imagine losing 4 pounds a week. The scale is going down 4 pounds each and every week, like almost 2 years, right? You're really stressing the hell out of your body and your internal organs. Your body's trying to readjust for decades of abuse, let's say. But to lose 4 pounds a week for a sustained number of period, you're most likely starving yourself, some kind of starvation diet. And again, there's going to be a price to pay at the end of this, right? You can't keep doing that. If it was that simple, everybody would just starve and look fabulous, right? It's not that easy. And doing it chronically for 2 years, that puts a ton of stress on your body. Your hormones, you know, your bones, it could lead to osteoporosis for ladies. So many bad things can happen. Slow down your metabolism, you start losing muscle instead of fat, and then it becomes a vicious cycle, right? You're losing weight, you're losing fat, everything's wonderful, but then you start losing muscle as well because you're starving. So you slow down your metabolism. And for somebody who's in the public eye, who knows if you feel this peer pressure, this pressure to look a certain way, perhaps leading to more starvation, perhaps. There was reports from the husband when he posted this about her being dehydrated, not being able to hold food down. Dehydration definitely leads to stress on your organs, right? And your metabolism is messed up as well. It's a vicious domino effect at that point in time. And it's hard to turn that back, especially if you're going to be making money from the way you look and these programs that you're selling, right? And her big thing is diet bets. That was her last post before going to the hospital. Something about diet bet again. So it's interesting. What red flags would you tell? Well, a bunch of her posts were just motivational, which is great, but not actionable advice. That's another thing I would say. It's great to come up with some cool quotes to motivate people, but you need to give some practical, real advice, not just work out and eat healthy. I didn't really see a lot of actual practical advice from this weight loss influencer, so to speak. But interestingly, even though she has 1.2 million followers, I was surprised when I went on her Instagram page how many people are not believing her story, to be honest. I was very surprised by that. A ton of people are not believing her story. So yeah, I was thinking, you know, something good can come out of this. I mean, she is alive. That's good, recovering. People can see the potential risks or what bad things can happen to you when you do extreme weight loss. But the moral of the story is, it took you a good while to get fat. Took me a couple of years to change. It can't just change overnight, right? Slow and steady wins the race, as they say. Trying to change for your health is never enough. Like, nobody changes for their health. That's the doctors tell you to change, but you don't change. Usually you start changing because you want to look better, right? But even that's not enough. Because again, you're probably going to quit after a while. You got to find your why or multiple whys to really increase the odds of you really changing, right? That's how you're going to really change. Now, you're talking about trying to feel better. Maybe you want to be able to play with your kids because you're exhausted. You can't run around with them. Maybe you want to get in a ride. You feel awkward when you get in the boot at the restaurant and you can't fit right. Maybe just walking exhausts you. So you have to find this extra why, right? It's not just enough to look good. You get the deeper level to get you back on the wagon, to get you back on track. So it's okay to backslide. But yeah, you can definitely get back on the wagon, so to speak. Definitely get back on the wagon. Shout out to that suggestion to hit the like button. Now, I know some people like this sound on the YouTube, but this sound originated in Jamaica, and I'm Jamaican, so I can definitely use it. So I'm not copying anybody on YouTube. Well, unless you're Jamaican, then I'm copying another Jamaican, I guess. So yeah, I mean, instead of losing 4 pounds a week, let's do simple math, right? You lost 2 pounds a week. That's actually a lot. So, right, 52 weeks in the year. So you're losing quite a lot right there. If you're doing 2, not 4, sorry. So it's 104 pounds. Most people, if you lost 50 pounds, they're going to look dramatically different, much less 104 pounds. So, if she dropped the 200 in 2 years, again, she would look drastically different. 2 more years, drop another drop. So in 4 years, and the same skin loss surgery she used, she would look drastically different and be healthy, right? So she could have the proverbial cake and eat it too. And one thing you got to remember, Tina, is wherever you're starting from, when you change, the old you would love to look like the new you, right? So if you lose 20 pounds, the old you would love to look like the new you. Lose up 50 pounds, the old you would kill to look like. It's all relative, right? You don't want to compare yourself to other people, just the old version of yourself, right? Because you are determined to transform your body, you made it to the end of this video. To get more tips about how to look great and feel even better, check out one of these videos you see on the screen. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. So later's my massive. Me a go long now. For those who don't speak Jamaican patois, that's goodbye, my people.